And we are live. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mountain Bears. I'm Aeson, and of course, the other Covenanter is lovely Techy Joe. How are you, darlings?
I'm doing good. How are you this evening?
Yeah, we'll see. I'm, still roaring and growing.
Yeah, you had to get a nap before show. You've been working hard.
Well, I have been. I've also been, doing crazy stuff.
Well, yes.
You know, tabletop too big for the space I want. Get me my saw.
Y'all, he used a power saw in the house. We are still cleaning sawdust off everything. Everything.
It was easier. It was already weighted down.
Yeah. I'm in a relationship with Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Who now has his tools organized and almost alphabetized.
And I'm not even sure at this point if that makes me Al or Jill.
Are you studying psychology?
Hey, there's a thought.
Yeah.
But, you know.
But yeah, it's been interesting. It's been fun. I've redesigned the flow of the house. Gee, who's bored of being home?
Hey, I didn't worry until we went to the dollar store and you dropped like $25 on organizational aids.
That's all right.
Pens and yeah, he sorted screws
and nuts
and nails
and bolts. Hi.
Yeah. Hello, Devin. Hello, Brenda.
Yeah, all the screws are sorted by size and screwdriver requirement. We have two fully functional toolkits, one with the things I use and the stuff he puts on his.
And meanwhile, if I run out of Tupperware, I can always go raid the tool shelf. Yeah.
Don't touch my tool shelf.
Mm-hmm. I'm not touching it.
I also threw out the washer and dryer.
We did. Yeah. We finally gave up because we've kind of had an event and we figured out first the dryer was dead, and then we backed up and realized that okay, apparently the washer's been screwed for a while and we hadn't caught that. So yeah, we kind of went back and forth, and we've decided to become laundromat people because quite frankly it just makes more sense for our lives.
Yeah. 3 hours versus a week.
Yeah. And then still have that moment of like, do I have clean anything?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's where, like, that whole I can do laundry at home thing always sounds great until you can. And then it's like, yeah, no. It never gets done because it takes forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it really does. I like the ability to go in and, like, just slam everything into multiple machines and be like, I'll be done in 3 hours.
Yep. Folded and ready for you to put away in color-coded baskets.
Exactly. It's lovely.
I know.
Hello, Shannon.
Hello, Shannon.
Yay.
Yeah, so Aeson's been playing with power tools and organization, fixing the clutter in my house. I've also organized the deep freeze.
We did.
Yeah.
We also went through and actually mapped out the breaker box.
Yeah.
Because that's things I want to know.
Yeah, that's things you want to know. Me, I'm like, no, that's zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That doesn't tell me anything. That represents multiple breakers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, try again. So, yes. But no, it was fun.
Mm-hmm. Tomorrow I might get to go play in the backyard. We'll see. That's needing some attention.
Yeah, we got a little busy.
Yeah, we got a little busy in the house.
Well, we got a little busy in the house, and then like earlier this week, like everything up to Wednesday was just like a never-ending marathon.
It was. It was.
Yeah. Like we got through Wednesday and we were like, what else? And it was like, no, really, I think we're good for 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
How did we do that? I don't know.
Where I shatter, they're enough to do their own laundry if you've got it in house.
Well, there you go. Hi, Alexandria. But yeah, no, like the 2 kid thing, I totally understand a little bit. Kind of went through that with my grandmother. Like, oh my God, the amount of clothing that woman wore in any given day. It was like just this constant costume change. And yeah, I basically did 21 loads of laundry a week. And my sister was horrified. When I told her that. She just like, you do what? And I'm like, no, I do 21 loads of laundry a week. Like, there's no other way.
I still haven't figured out how she does 4 loads.
Me either. Like, I don't know. She's smaller.
Maybe, but still.
Well, like little people clothes, you can cram a lot of them in there.
True.
Like, big people clothes, it's like, nah, today, that'll fill it up.
But no, we've decided to be laundromat people for multiple reasons. One of them is I needed a pantry. I needed a kitchen.
Yes. Well, yeah, because we that's the one room I guess we kind of have to throw off a little bit on in this house. Is that the kitchen? I still can't figure out a point in which that kitchen worked for someone.
When there was only 3 appliances in the kitchen. The coffee pot, the refrigerator,
and the stove.
And the blender.
No, and the stove.
No, the stove was wood burning.
Well, but it's still an appliance. It takes up space. It's not like it was like a 0 land impact item.
I know, but you can't buy a dang stove to fit that spot anymore.
Oh, I'm sure is the mega super heavy duty. Oh my God.
Yeah, she's supersized, probably.
Well, yeah, they're all about the bigger, better appliances.
Right. So on Tuesday, they came out with the interview of Trump.
You've tried.
I've watched it twice now.
Oh, wow.
And took notes to save you guys the 45 minutes of the interview. Here's the notes. He doesn't care about the coronaviruses. He reads statistics based on what looks good. He doesn't have a problem with Russia supplying the Taliban with weaponry, even though we already have acts in Congress that says that it will freeze all assets of those countries or those people found supporting terrorists. He doesn't care if, there are wanted posters on the signs of our servicemen. And he said this in the interview.
Ooh, yeah, I'm there with you. Yeah. Some things just shouldn't be consumed.
Right. We consume them because we're watching them. The other part is he uses something called positive thinking as a reality. And I know that a lot of people do that. There's 2 types of positive thinking. There's one, which is positive thinking with action. And then there's another, which is positive thinking without action.
Well, yeah. If you're visualizing a goal and thinking positive outcomes and you're working towards that, that's awesome. But if you're sitting there just thinking positive things, I'm going to win the lottery, buy a fucking ticket. That's your problem. Buy the ticket.
Right.
You got to do something here, man.
Yeah.
And you don't just win the lottery.
And it doesn't surprise me looking at who his religious advisor is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's been a hot point for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like praying for money, but sitting on your couch and eating bonbons.
Well, it's not even that.
It is that.
No, it's if it were only that bad. Because that's Paula Smith White, some generic Karen
Paula
name.
White, former
Yeah, there you go.
drug addict.
Yeah. Well, anyway, not throwing off on people's life choices exactly, but no, this is the same woman who also said that, you need to front load your tithing, basically, and send her a month's salary at the beginning of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
That's where she was at. So no, this is not just oh, I want $1 million. I'm going to sit and eat bonbons. This is, in order to follow her bouncy ball, this is, I'm going to not pay anything in January.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to write your ass a check. And then what you're telling me is my life's going to get better. And I don't know anyone who has ever had that work.
Right.
If anyone else does, please let me know.
Yeah.
Apparently God's not good enough for an installment plan.
Well, apparently
Center's good enough for an installment plan, but God's not. All right, got it.
Well, see, and here's the whole arbitrarial thing. Is tithing in general.
Mm-hmm.
It was not meant to work the way it is. It was not meant to be the way it is. Where they pull the tithing from, there's a little scripture in the Bible that says, given to Caesar what is Caesar's, given to God what is God. The paragraph before it talks about you taking care of your home and family first.
Generally good sound advice.
Yeah.
If you got a disconnect notice, God can wait.
Mm-hmm.
That would be that's the message
that
needs to be there, is that, you know what? Solve your shit first. Simple as can be.
Right.
And if you can't do that, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And you need to continue working towards that. I know, as best you can. But no, you don't just go giving out money when you don't have you covered.
Right.
That's not a good plan. It's not going to make it better.
Exactly. And that doesn't do anything for us. That doesn't do anything for any religious organization. Because you got to remember, the original churches, after the Lutheran doctrine, or whatever the Lutheran document revolution is called, became the welfare system up into 32.
Yeah. Alexandria points out there's a movie coming out that apparently we both want to watch. Looks like it's entitled 1946. Yeah. So we'll definitely be checking out that. Thank you so much. And does America win the lottery in November? Alexandria, we hope so.
Yes. I cannot make statements clearly on the election. I am backing Biden, and any female that he chooses, or male, he's already said, however, he wants to choose a female for vice presidency. I'm liking all the candidates I'm hearing, although I think Elizabeth Warren will be most fitting.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sitting here looking at Shannon's comment, and yeah, I've met those people.
Right.
Yeah, that's a scary moment. But I can almost sit there and be like, okay, kind of understand that. Although, what gets me though was a friend of mine in college, and I think we talked about this on the show before. Anyway, but was the friend of mine who said they didn't have any money, and I got into one of those situations. I felt bad. And hey, you can stay with me, blah, 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 only to find out that no. After buying your food, paying, trying to help out here, that no, you had a couple $1,000s in the bank that you had already allocated for something else and left yourself no budget to like survive on. Right. So now it's like kindness of strangers. And I'm like, well, you're not being kind enough for me to support your lifestyle.
Right.
So no, I get that. I've been there, and that is absolutely infuriating. Right. When it's like, no, you need to figure that out.
Right.
Like quickly.
Very. And I think that probably if we do get the Democratic run, that we will see massive changes with Homeland Security, we will see massive changes in trade, and we will see an uptick in the economy.
Well, and also a reduction in deficit. Like, those are the hallmarks of a Democratic a Democratic presidency coupled with Democrats in control. Like, we've seen it over and over. Like, this idea that Republicans reduce spending is ridiculous. It doesn't happen.
Right.
Like, there's no evidence for that. Look at the evidence, how the spending went, not what happened. What do? We end up in massive military spending. So whatever we cut from social programs gets moved over to military spending with a reach around. Like, it's not just enough to cut from public education, food assistance, all these other things. We have to then turn around and go, oh, and we're going to increase that spending. And by the way, here's a tax cut.
Right.
Yeah. Now.
Yeah. Now, some other things that have popped up in the news and keep popping around, but I want to talk kind of about the bullshitty thing here. So the more you hear him use positive thinking or positive words, it's called spinning. You know, he was trying to, his whole thing was, well, we're number one on the number of deaths between cases.
Yeah.
That's not something to be proud about.
No.
The numbers are getting better. No, they're not.
Well, but a lot of this is called alternative facts. Like, we created new terminology for this.
Well, we had to,
because we
can't define stupid that well.
Well, right, but there's been this back and forth all the way throughout this presidency of that's not an actual factual statement.
Right.
And it's like, no, alternative facts.
Right.
And that's where we are. Like, that is the, most oxymoronic thing I can think of. There is no such thing as an alternative fact.
Exactly.
It either is a fact or it isn't a fact. Now, you can sometimes get two different sets of data that point to two different facts, and then you got to do some fact checking.
Right. And by the way, guys, they're touting the drop in, they may be touting the drop in jobless loss this month. Here's a reason why. There's a lawsuit filing for it because it isn't worth it.
Well, there is that. There's also just the reality that at some points you're going to fall off those rolls.
Right.
Like, you're no longer unemployed just because you're not counted as unemployed anymore.
Right.
Like, yeah. Like, we've seen that happen before. And I think we've seen that all throughout this presidency. Is there are large numbers of unemployed people coupled with a large number of underemployed people. And they're working at levels that theoretically they shouldn't be.
Right.
They left a full-time, high-paying job, and the best they've been able to do to replace that job is something that's either part-time, low wage, or both.
Right. So anyhow, I'm liking what I'm hearing out of the Biden camp. I would love for that interviewer to sit down with Biden, and I think he probably will. That interviewer, I gotta see who he is, but he's a good interviewer. He didn't let him move and wasn't soft questioning.
Well, and that's good differentiation to make, Devin, is that unemployment never counts the underemployed. Right. So that immediately starts to screw with the numbers. Yep. But it is a big factor facing us. And because you also turn around and that's where you see people, taking on jobs through the gig economy. With Grubhub and help me out, the shopping one you like, or Instacart, and Lyft and Uber and all these various platforms to try to push their wages up,
right?
To fill the gaps. But that means you have a whole lot of people struggling, and those are very important numbers to me. It's one thing when you lose your job and there's a gap, and then you resume employment at roughly the level you were at. The problem comes in is if you leave here and you show back up in employment down here somewhere, usually that represents a lot of lost wealth in terms of housing, cars, bankruptcies, credit card discharges, maxed out credit cards, unpaid student loan debt. That starts creating a lot of discomfort.
It is. The interviewer is Jonathan Swan. I'm sorry, watch anything he interviews, anybody he interviews, because I think he's the new Barbara Walters with a cuter face.
Barbara Wawa?
Yeah, Barbara Wawa.
And can we please get her out of retirement? Because I swear to God, right now, the whole world needs to hear her say, I am Baba Wawa, and this is 2020.
Well, we need to get her out and dust her off and put her in her dog attack. Because I loved her dog attack interviews back in the late 80s. Even her early 70s stuff, when she was balls to the wall, I'm going to make you cry through this interview, and I'll watch you do it.
So, yes, no, yeah. Sorry, just trying to give everyone a laugh right now. Barbara Wawa. Oh, we miss you.
Yes. Well, and we miss that style of journalism. So we have so much soft shoulder journalism anymore. Of, I don't want to make them upset. I don't forget that.
Well, a lot of it isn't that the interviewer doesn't want to make them upset. It's that they are traumatized or intentionally by the network. You screw this up, you will never work again. Because in a lot of situations, people are only sitting down with interviewers for networks that they have some ability to control. That they're friends with a network president, they're friends over here, that they can ask for, or they're major advertisers for that network. And it's yeah, you're going to be nice to me because otherwise I'm going to ruin you.
And that needs to stop. That really does need to stop in general. Now, Georgia already opened up its schools. It went back this week.
Yeah.
65 students and staff have already been tested positive for corona in 2 days.
2 days. At that rate, that's just that's just sad.
Yeah.
Is anyone that's kind of a is the mic on? Are you listening? Do you hear this? Hello. 65 2 days, and you think you're going to make it through a school year?
Well, that's not the big story. The big story is the school boards are suppressing the students. A student in Georgia took a photo of the hallway showing students without masks, students in a crowded hallway, which is not supposed to be happening, CDC guidelines, and posted it to social media after school and was suspended for it. I have multiple issues with this. One of them is freedom of press.
Well, now the argument that the school made or tried to make was multifaceted. Is that one, using phone during school hours, and I'm going, really, you're going to push that? It's 2020. Part two of that was taking photos
Mm-hmm.
of students and their faces. They were uncomfortable with that. I'm sitting here going, I understand that typically, journalistically, like you want to avoid that. Like most of those shots of schools are typically like head chops.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a student body, like literal and
I'm looking at one of the pictures, and it doesn't show one face.
yeah. And then the other part of that was using social media during school hours.
And it was
Okay, so
after school hours.
well, right, but the original charge
Mm-hmm.
from the school to her
Mm-hmm.
was that she was using social media during school hours.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the photo was taken during school hours, and there's some issues there in terms of, yeah, unfortunately, right now in the year 2020, this is absolutely 100% newsworthy. You know, I can understand that your school board policy might prevent photographing students in such a manner. However, that seems to only really come up when it's negative. Like when the press is negative. Like you don't mind those football team photos.
Right.
You don't mind those car wash photos. Like you don't mind a lot of different photos.
Yeah, and the other thing that got me was they said, "Oh, we can't monitor and control the hallways and make sure all the students are practicing social distancing." Really? But you can harass a girl for a spaghetti stop. You can harass a guy for shorts. You can harass. Really?
Yeah. And natural hair for people of color. Yeah. No, there's a lot of that. But now I get what they're saying, again, to a point. And it's like, that's the point. That's the point. You're trying to do something that has never been done before. And yes, this is going to be hard to control traffic in these hallways to allow students to move without creating traffic jams and shoulder to shoulder.
Well, CDC guidelines, they should only be moving into a classroom
if they're entering or exiting the building. Yeah.
That's it.
But those are guidelines, not necessarily what the school board chose to do.
No, looks like the school board chose to do nothing.
Yeah. Back to normal, wear a mask. Yeah.
Yeah. Not even that.
Yeah. So, no, it's been a mess. Like Georgia especially has been a mess. And as for the rest of the story, her suspension was lifted. She will not have a suspension on her record. So she will not technically have to deal with that. Apparently, the school kind of jumped the gun on that. They got a little cranky. So, yeah. We'll see how the rest of back to school goes, but this is not a good beginning.
I hate to say this, but it has 3 times the amount of students because they don't have the little county schools. They have mega schools. They do orderly fashion entrance, orderly fashion exits, and nice 6-foot lines. This is ridiculous. It's not that it can't be done. It's that it takes control.
It does. Well, and a lot of this is about control, and a lot of it is about taking this seriously and taking the time. Like, and I think that's what some school systems are not getting. Is the next 2 weeks of your school year are not going to be normal. Like, stop trying. Like, start at the beginning. Is that this is going to look like check-in at a refugee camp for most of your day until you get a process.
Right.
You know, and that's it. That's the best you can do.
Mm-hmm.
It may be your whole day is just getting everyone's temperatures checked and getting everyone in the right places and
Mm-hmm.
figuring out what works and doesn't. And stop trying to make it an academic day. It's just not going to happen.
Or better yet, make it an academic day at home where they belong.
Valid. But if you're going to go with in-school, in-person classes, I don't see there's any way to do that.
Right.
Without acknowledging that, no, you cannot just like hop back into life as usual.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like that's a lot of what Georgia did. And I'm actually kind of shocked that that they're not having a complete and total teacher meltdown.
Well,
Like,
we're
waiting on
it.
Hmm?
They were exposed during day 2.
Yeah.
We're waiting 14 days out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lots of quarantining. It's gonna be great.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good evening, Terry. But yes. Well, and I get the whole school monitor thing or the hall monitor thing. Yeah, they can do a lot of that.
Well, farmers can put, barriers down the side in the middle of their aisles.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me there ain't enough traffic cones for a state as big as Georgia? And believe me, I drove through there. They got them. They can't be posting them down through the thing. Single file lines all the way through.
Yeah. Again, I think we also have to stop and consider that these schools were not designed for this. Like, this isn't a situation they were designed for.
Mm-hmm.
They just were not. Because when you think about, lockers on both sides of a hall,
I'm looking at 6 students across.
Yeah, which is bad enough. But if you were to take a moment, because I think I was also seeing lockers in that photo.
Yeah, lockers to one side.
Yeah, so just one or both?
One.
Just one.
The other
okay, so you have bidirectional traffic, lockers all on one side.
Yep.
And depending upon what kids need to do in between classes, I think we almost, in that situation, you almost have to look at trading in some safety for some safety.
Mm-hmm.
Is close the lockers. No more lockers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no lockers this year. If you can't carry it in your backpack, you can't carry it in your backpack.
Right. Or better yet, divide it up. Fine, your locker is a downward locker.
IMG. I know, but then you run into the situation you're going to have students walking in a giant circle. If you do the one-way aisle concept, you're going to get stuck with a student that has to go all the way down that hall to a turnaround point to come back. And I think you're going to create even more hell, havoc, and chaos.
For maybe the first 2 days, and then they figure it out.
Well, true.
Take a divine statement.
Okay, I wish the whole country would take COVID more seriously. My friend almost died from it. My former 4-H advisor passed away from it yesterday. I just don't think they should let the kids go back yet. No, we're there.
We're there. We are for total online classes. Even in like the state of West Virginia, they've created the Lights of Tomorrow program that opens up the Wi-Fi in the full every 55 counties has open Wi-Fi in state parks, libraries, schools, and they're making it to where you just drive up, you download your assignments, and you go. They've took care money and have bought devices. Dell has been very nice to give them a nice cut on that so that they can get some marketing out there and get you pre-programmed to be a Dell person.
Hey.
I'll take it.
Better than when Apple tried it.
I know. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. So there is no reason for general populational students to be in class.
Yeah, in a lot of areas. I struggle with Georgia if it even has as many pockets as West Virginia does.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, because geography alone suggests that they would have less problem with pushing broadband through.
Right.
West Virginia is kind of its own unique entity. We, with a few other states, are in a catch-22. It's not that we don't have a lot of people without internet. We do, but we have a lot of people without internet that are very far apart.
Right.
And very far away from the next major hub. There would need to be a massive build out that it's been hard, even with government funding, to try to do it, to get providers to sink the money in when they know that theoretically they're never even going to make it back.
Right.
But that was the whole concept. This was the reason our government dumped money into this, was that we know, we get it, we can see that it's going to cost you X thousands of dollars or X hundreds of thousands of dollars or X $1 million to do this for this community. And you're going to have this small number of subscribers at X dollars per month. It's not going to work. You may be 4 decades ever seeing a return on that investment.
Right.
Yeah. No, I can certainly understand. We're hoping more states will get on page with the concept. Though I still have to question, how well is this working in other parts of West Virginia, though? This would cover a lot of areas, like that kind of lifeline hotspot concept.
Right.
But then we still have other pockets of West Virginia that's not going to be close. This is why we are in the middle already of a middle mile project, which has been a long-term, and I think almost 10 years effort, to get just to the point where last year, it finally got funded.
Right.
Because we kept trying to tell the state, or I say we like I'm involved, but a large number of people in the state have been trying to explain this concept, is that these communities, these school systems within West Virginia are stuck in the dark ages in terms of modern education.
Right.
You might as well hand them an abacus and, an oil light. That's where they are in terms of 21st century education standards and what they have access to and the type of education they can get in a classroom that's reliant on older media that is effectively no longer viable.
Right.
And it's failing. Like Laserdisc? Really? That was crap we were using in high school. When I was in high school in the late 90s. If that's where you stopped, or just a little after, you got to start realizing that those devices are just going to get older. What kind of computer literacy are you teaching in 2020 in a school that doesn't have internet or is on a near idiotic level of dial-up?
Right. Yeah, and that's something that has to change. That's something that can change quickly. Also, I think one of the cell companies is going to be opening up.
Okay.
For, providing services.
Well, yeah, and that would be a big deal. A lot of these communities, if you could move in the cows, it's actually what the trucks are called, cows, cellular on wheels. If you could move those trucks in, you can rapidly deploy a decent amount of cellular and internet connectivity.
Right.
I mean, because typically those devices or those trucks roll out to major venues. So if you have, if you've been to a major sporting event, or a major civic arena event where they are expect like a conference or a convention, and they're expecting tens of thousands of people at this venue. There's some trucks with great big giant antennas, and those are basically support devices for cellular networks, so that you can have your event, you can be on social media, you can call people, you can be all about it, and not crash the local infrastructure.
Right.
This is something that I believe AT&T might have been one of the early adopters of this concept of deploying these devices so that they didn't crash their infrastructure.
Right.
But yes, so Shannon says companies probably realized that if it came down to the state mandating they had to run lines out to all households and eating the cost, they got on the boat of doing these designated areas where people could drive up. Seemed a more feasible alternative to their pockets. Well, and effectively, yes, but no. What I want to clear up is we're talking about over 20 years ago, the government started handing out money for broadband. Suddenlink got money, Frontier got money, a lot of companies got money under the auspices of they were supposed to use this money to build out their networks. A lot of them only focused on improving networks, sort of. As in what happened, and again, we kind of covered this in an earlier show, but what basically happened is it's the reason that we're sitting in Oak Hill with 1 gigabit service. We can get that. Other pockets of the state, you're lucky if you get like Frontier at a 8 meg connection, megabit, not megabyte, megabit connection, which is by the way 1/7, if I remember correctly, or 1/8 of a megabyte. So this is a little faster than dial-up, a lot slower than what most people would call broadband. But what happened is, based on population densities, it made it look like they spent that money in a way that improved the whole state because of the way the government tracked the data. Right. So they abused the system. And it's been a total nightmare, is that a lot of communities that should have been helped got next to nothing. And a lot of how that money was used was as a freebie. Here's a crap ton of money to go make a crap ton more money off of, and you don't have to pay it back. That's what unfortunately happened. So now we slam into today, and this is where we're at, is that we are literally having to yet again hand out money, but do it as a government action to support students in rural areas of West Virginia.
Right.
And it may end up having to happen all across the United States for the same reason.
Right.
So, yay, accountability, it didn't occur. So, yeah. Okay. Date of birth, and I think we're ready to take a question, aren't we?
Yeah, but yeah, we can definitely take a question on that.
Okay. So, but yeah. All right. So, what are your thoughts on it?
My thoughts in general is this should have been done ages ago. I keep hearing, oh, it's West Virginia. Baloney. If they've got internet at 2 gig speed in Alaska, they can have it here in West Virginia. Mountains are taller in Alaska because they've got ice and snow on them. But worse weather in Alaska than they do here. I'm tired of hearing excuses from companies. Oh, we'll never make any money about it. And do it.
Well, but unfortunately, when we start talking this conversation, which we've been having a lot over the last 4 years, of wanting businessmen in politics to run our government,
Mm-hmm.
This is what this looks like.
Yeah.
Like, you're asking, like, what you should follow along, what you should be looking for in your politicians is someone who will interact with your government as a public service. When you start having government act like a business, that's when you get really crazy no service results.
Right.
Like, that's what happens. Like, you want to know where all the stupid fees and fines and penalties and nitpicky bullshit comes from? It comes from people running a government like a business. Like that, like this whole, we're going to fine you better, i.e., we're going to fine your behavior to get you to a point in which you behave better. That's a conservative concept. That is a Republican idea and a belief system. Is that, you know, if you can afford to your bad behavior, then go be bad. It's okay, fine. Get the slap on the wrist, whatever. But then ultimately what happens is that when you're creating these fines and fees, you're creating major barriers for people in poverty. And no one cares.
Yeah.
And the programs that are supposed to help people who are impoverished often don't make allowances for the fact that, and in addition to all those back utilities, for instance, you have a lot of fees.
All right.
All right. We're still waiting on the date of birth. So once that comes in, we will get to that question. So I guess we're moving on to our next topic, or?
Let's do that.
Okay.
And this was a techie topic, so you take it away.
All right. So we're going with COVID-wise?
Yep.
Awesome. So if you guys haven't heard, this is the newest thing in Virginia. And we would love to thank Mark for sharing that article. So yeah, COVID-wise is a Bluetooth app, effectively, that will monitor the people that are also have this app installed. Currently only working in Virginia, whose path you cross. And should one of them report to the app that they are COVID positive, then it will feed out to people whose path they have crossed in the last 14 days. So, interesting app, small problem. If you're an Android user, it works great. There's not a lot of Android devices being left out of this. Android 6 and higher. There's not, like, there are some Android devices out there that are below Android 6. Some really inexpensive phones. Like, if you're doing I walked into Family Dollar and bought a cell phone and that's my cell phone, you might have a problem. Most devices, however, are at least Android 6. I do believe off the top of my head, 6 is Marshmallow. Yeah. So that's been a few years. So that's great. Problem, however, app only works for iOS 13.5 and above, which basically knocks out anything less than an iPhone 6. A lot of people little cranky about that because a lot of those devices, like Apple's done a weird thing even for Apple.
Right.
Is their marketplace has actually kept selling some devices for quite a while. Like, technically iPhone 11 is out, and I think you can still buy an iPhone 6 new.
Right.
So that's so if you're backing up and you bought a phone a year ago and you wanted an iPhone, but you didn't have a lot of money, the iPhone 5 would have been a good choice. Additionally speaking, there's a lot of people that have had, like, these are quality phones. I will give Apple that. They do make a quality device. They have a strong resale market as well as having a longevity market.
Right.
not everyone needs a new phone.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when you bought a quality phone. So there's a lot of angst, at least, with iPhone users that they're going to pretty much be left out on this one.
Right.
Now, here's where it gets dicey. What I can't understand, and I've tried to look through this a couple of times, is whether this is this is a developer limitation, as in right now they're focusing on 13.5 and higher because of the just keep it within sort of the same family of products and the general programming platform, or if this is an actual hardware limitation of devices below the iPhone 6, that it is possible that the iPhone 5 and lower may not be capable of Bluetooth Low Energy, which is required for this app.
Right.
I was trying to look that up and get on page with that, but I'm having a little issue trying to sluice out. Right. It's not like Apple's forthcoming with information ever. So, you know.
Well, I think that this is going to be something really handy. I do think that it should be in more than just Virginia. Mm-hmm. I think in West Virginia and everywhere else it should be in.
Well, right now, Alabama's doing a pilot program. They're also looking at expanding into other states. Mm-hmm. And let's see, I think that so far, let's see, they had a list. Oh, does the app work as nope, that's not it. Oh, quit swinging that before we get like copyrighted. Sorry, I have weird hold music in my brain. Gosh, I can there is a list. I think it's like 5 other states they're looking at, and they are high incident rate.
Right.
So, and Alabama being one of the biggest ones. So, yes. Well, Devin has a question. Are you ready for that one?
Yes.
Awesome. So, March 16th, 1978. Will my 22-year-old daughter ever get her act together?
Yeah, but here's the weird part. She's going to have to get in a relationship first. After she gets into the relationship, she gets into balance and gets her crap together so that she's able to start behaving herself. And I know that seems weird, but it's like the relationship makes her grow up.
All right. So stop polishing your guns while the boys are coming over?
Yeah. And encourage dating.
There you go. Oh, I think that's a reading you should have to give with a shot glass. Like, yeah, it's going to hurt.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that I have to give that way. But no, it looks to me like she has to get into a relationship with somebody that's like, I ain't putting up with this BS. Okay. And it's showing it to be a new one.
All righty. Well, we got a whoa. Okay, I guess. Thanks. All right. Well, hopefully that helps. Yeah, I'm with you there. I was listening to that one myself, going, I think we need to send him a shot glass of whiskey, because that's got to be a hard one to hear. Or, well, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I shouldn't have made assumptions. That was bad.
Right. But in general, she'll grow up out of it in that way. And that's how it pulls itself together. All right. So let's see. We now have our second COVID positive public released governor of Ohio.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
What's scary is he was supposed to meet the president only a couple of hours before he found out he was positive.
Yeah, I'm starting to have some issues with the whole Trump administration and these narrow misses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did anyone else see the movie War Games? Like, is this starting to feel like COVID War Games? Like, it's just like a lot of midair collisions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what it feels like. It feels like we're running a death scenario.
Well, we are.
Over and over. Well, granted, it's not a scenario. People are dying. It's like 157,000 was the last number I've heard. I don't know, plus or minus 10 or 15,000. Because, you know.
Yeah. And it's like, really, can we just, can we just do what we need, what every other country in the domesticated world has done?
Mm-hmm.
And the non-domesticated world, they do this all the time.
Absolutely. So yeah, I was actually looking very quickly. Wow, the U.S. is at 161,000 deaths.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jesus. Worldwide, 719,000.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. Oh, it just gets worse every time we look.
It does.
I swear I saw 157 this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, got it now. I got confused. Sorry. I went to school with a Devon who was a boy. So I'm stuck with it as a boy name. Oops.
Yeah, you're doing real well with that one.
Yeah, I'm just blowing this one sideways.
Just remember to turn the A's, Vanna. Just remember to turn the A's.
Do what I can. But no. All right, and I just have to ask, so were you truly evil all the way through school as well? Because the Devon I know. Like, yeah, that was a misspell. Like, on should have been ill. I'm teasing. You don't even have to answer that. I just had to go there. But yeah, so hi.
Hi. But so, definitely things are going to get a little worse. Then they'll get better. They'll build and grow and continue being there. And I think that things are going to be changing in general in our society. I think we're going to see more picnickers. I think that we're going to see more people going out into nature. Again, please social distance while you do so. We saw something we haven't seen for 45 years.
Oh?
A splashdown.
Yes! Actually, isn't it more than that?
45 years.
Like 19... Okay, I thought it was closer to 50. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. Yeah. Yes, so SpaceX has had its first successful mission. It did its first, and there has been the first space flight base splashdown since 1975.
Yeah.
So, wow. That's all I got for that is, all right, we are moving ever closer to non-governmental space travel.
Yeah. And something else SpaceX done was the first spaceship flew 150 kilometers in the air. Just straight up, straight down. Testing out landing gear.
Hey,
Yeah.
Our flights are wonderful.
Exactly. So, of course, I think he said 2025 we will have an operational spaceship, non-warp capable. I think that we'll be looking for real speed in about 30 years.
Yeah. But this also links into Netflix's series Mars, which was an Elon Musk funded mini-series movie that contrasts the SpaceX program now
Mm-hmm.
or at least a couple of years ago,
Mm-hmm.
to what the hopes are
Right.
for the future. And Mars looks at literally doing a human space colony on Mars.
Yeah. They're already
Within
developing
just
that.
a few decades. Well, within a few decades. I think it's something like 2080s.
Yeah.
Oh, I really should have checked that. Like I
Well,
I
I don't understand
watched
why we
it.
do
I
not have
did.
bases on the moon. We've already been there. We weren't there. We haven't been there for 30 some years. There is no reason why we should not have a base on the moon. It was originally in the Kennedy space program. Nixon took it out because, of course, Nixon had to grease some pockets. And then Reagan cut it out completely. Um,
Absolutely. Well, and there were a lot of programs, or a lot of problems with our space program that have delayed the idea of actually manned mission even to Mars.
mhm.
Like our space program has taken a lot of um,
A lot of hits.
unfortunate, weird turns, shall we
Mhm.
say. So yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the right year. Because I forgot how many decades in the future um, the Mars program was pushing. But yeah, no, sorry, don't got it. We'll look for that. Anyway, if you haven't watched it on Netflix, it's totally worth watching. It's very cool. Just be careful. It sounds a lot like a National Geographic kind of program.
Mhm.
Can be very sleep inducing. Like if you got
Yeah.
sleep
Is that
problems,
what you were
try
falling
Mars.
asleep to for like a week?
Do I now?
Is that what you were falling asleep to for like a week?
Yes, unfortunately, I had to rewatch so many episodes because it does that whole like National Geographic, like, and here we see blah 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 blah. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Sorry, I'm that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, I can only do so many National Geographic. Like, and I'm talking old school National Geographic that everyone fell asleep to.
Right.
Like, I'm pretty sure there was a deal with Ambien to take that off the air so they
Mm-hmm.
could sell more Ambien. Because it's like you could take a pill or you could just watch.
Right.
It works. It
Yeah.
does. It really does.
And it's real. I have some problems with those documentaries.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. But no, some documentaries are good for that though. But yeah. But alrighty.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes. And we're trying not to burn dinner, guys. If you're trying to figure out what we're doing, we should have just said it live. We're trying not to burn dinner, okay?
Yeah.
There
So
are
I've
Swedish.
sent the invisible assistant to go turn off the crock pot because I was checking the recipe to make sure the recipe was right, and that it shut off at a certain time. And there's this window of don't shut off.
Yeah.
The fun things you do when you live in a house that runs purely on coffee, and you discover slow cookers and Instapots and slow baking oven stuff.
Well, yeah, and these are actually like the Instapot especially.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there's anything that's cut down on our eating out more than like the combo of the Instapot and the slow cooker.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way. Why isn't Instapot sponsoring us?
I don't know, because you haven't applied for the affiliate program yet, so I can get to testing out the new ones.
Yeah, we're still not getting a 3-quart duo.
I don't want a 3-quart duo. This thing's idiotic.
Well, okay, so one of my sisters accidentally bought the 3-quart duo, so this is kind of a joke at this point.
This isn't the good sister.
Hey! Oh, you are horrible. Oh my God. You did not just say that.
Yes, my I did. I have a good sister and I have an okay sister.
I do not support this message. That's what I got for that.
Well, that's fine.
I had to. I wasn't ready. So
Come
anyway,
on, you have had siblings all your life.
yes, I have had siblings all my life.
You cannot tell me that you do not have a list in your head of the good
Nope.
ones, the fun ones, or the dangerous ones.
Nope. We lived with too much of that crap from Dad. Dad and his never-ending shit list, and you're jockeying upon it.
Mm-hmm.
No, we do not shit list.
No, I don't need a shit list. I have a list of who I need to do what.
Oh my God, you are horrible. But anyway, now that my mind's been blown. So anyway, she got the 3-quart duo. And I'm just, the minute I heard those words, I was like, to make dip? Like, I don't know what else I could do with the 3-quart duo than make dip.
Keep gravy warm.
Basically.
I can melt candles in it and actually dip the candle and have a full functioning candle without a mold.
Gosh. Alrighty. But no. So air fryers, yeah, we own one. Oh my God. So yeah, the air fryer was bad choice of mine. It just still hasn't worked out for itself. Like, I paid like $70 some for that stupid thing.
I'm still trying to figure out what to do with it.
I know, right?
We've made fries in it that weren't good. We've made chicken tenders in it that weren't fully done. Yeah.
Like, we can't find a happy use for this that's like, oh yeah, no, that's totally worth it. That's a good plan.
Uh-huh.
Like, and my sister has tried egg rolls, thinking this would be awesome, and no. Like, everything we can think of. Like, at this point, it just feels like an adult, manly, easy bake oven.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm thinking we could make small cupcakes, like individual serving size. Like, I've been literally tempted to go to and order, like, an easy bake oven, like, muffin kit, and see what we can do, because it feels like the thing is running on like a 200-watt light bulb. Oh, no, I understand that, Shannon. I have some issues with fried food myself. Mm-hmm. But no, Parmesan chips, that might be interesting. We can
try. We've got the spiralizer.
Like, so you're talking like the wisps, like those kind of, like the cheesy chips, like I personally call it burned cheese, which I love, but like the wisps, like where you basically just cook cheese until it's dead.
Crispy,
yeah. Yeah, no life left. That's what it is. Just let us know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, because now I've had problems with like the wisps. Like, that didn't work out for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were good, don't get me wrong, but my body did not take well to those. Like, oh, okay, so yeah, I think it's in that same kind of idea. Okay, yeah. Hey, we'll try it if we can find something that
we may try it. But no, we've tried. I've tried replacing a deep fryer with that. Granted, I didn't use a deep fryer to begin with. I have an iron skillet. All I need is two bottles of oil. I have a lovely deep fryer, and I can put the oil back in there and use it for other things.
Well, there you go.
But no, I'm sorry. I don't give even a half a star to the air fryer.
Yeah. Yeah. Shredded. Okay, cool. No, got you there.
Yeah. I haven't made nice with it. It lives on a shelf. If he wants to use it, he can.
Not that I do. Like, I've just never had a good time with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing I've really run through it yet that I've been like, oh yeah, that was worth $70. I'm there.
Well, chicken nuggets for a lifetime.
Yeah, no.
Hi,
No, he
Jessica.
doesn't even do this well. Oh, hi, Jessica. But no, it doesn't even do chicken nuggets. Like we're down to like trying to run like pre-packaged frozen food through it, thinking surely to God, how hard can it be to run items through it that are basically already cooked that you can ultimately fix with like a low-powered microwave. And still, I don't know if like I got the defective one, if this is normal, because it gets hot. Don't get me wrong, it gets hot, but it's never been. Yeah, it's like the air fryer XL.
Yeah.
I was at Sam's Club, let me tell y'all. And that's where I screwed up first. And I bought an air fryer. Like me and Sam's Club, it's all I can say.
I keep his wallet.
Basically. Well, no, you're not that bad at
stores that we go to that I just hold your wallet.
No. Sam's Club isn't it? Well, it may be now, but like no, Sam's Club is not generally one you take my wallet. Now Harbor Freight, oh yeah,
and I set a timer.
Yeah, set a timer.
Used to be Radio Shack.
No, actually, I wasn't that bad in Radio Shack. My dad was the one that was bad at Radio Shack. They screwed up and gave him a credit card. Like, and that was a bad decision. Like, right. I don't know what they were thinking.
I know what they're thinking. Oh, we'll make some interest payments off this one.
Oh, yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah, that don't work.
No, you just ended up with a customer that has a customer history to such a detail that, like, he could have returned snow tires.
When did you buy them? Oh, well, in 26.
Don't care.
I'll put it in here.
Like they're gonna lose money. Like he'll be back tomorrow. You know.
But no, we love our Instapot, and ours is a name brand Instapot. I'm normally not a name brand person, but after experiencing an off-brand Instapot, you want an Instapot.
Yeah, well, it can make it easier. Can make it easier because the Instapot community is huge. And there's a lot of recipes, and a lot of the electric pressure cooker recipes are built in Instapot style. Which on other electric pressure cookers takes a little finagling. You have to figure out some equivalencies. It's typically not that hard, but if you're looking for like dump, press, and go level instruction, yeah, you're not getting that.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do some math. You're going to have to think a little. You're going to have to hit a different button.
You're going to have to set and hit 2 buttons instead of 1, and then you have to play with this dial and this dial. Believe me, buy an Instapot.
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah. Now, I've seen the Ninja food things that are Instapot air fryer. That's too much shit in one thing. That is too much in one thing. And we've had experiences with the Ninja brand. It served us for 2 years.
And beautifully.
And then died.
True. But yeah, the like weighing out decisions, you almost got the Ninja pressure cooker air fryer. Or like, yeah, with the rotisserie lid and all that. You almost got the Mega one. Because I wanted it. Like, just to be honest. But now we've seen, and it was shared with us, that the Instapots even have a replacement lid that is an air fryer lid.
Yeah.
So you can turn your existing Instapot into
an air fryer.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in seeing what that is. Like, I'm interested in that one.
Yeah.
Now, something that we had a lot of fun with, and I was like, oh, God, really? Pampered Chef. Virtual party.
Yes! The Instapot or the virtual pampered chef party.
Yeah.
Like you said, Instapot, and that's all I know now. That's like my entire brain. Instapot.
Yeah.
I'm a pothead, guys. That's what I am. And when you join the Instapot community, that makes more sense.
Yes.
So
he's not talking about marijuana. He doesn't like to get stoned. But what we're talking about is the Pampered Chef Party was really cool. I'd like to have, if there is a Tupperware consultant out there, I suggest you running and inviting me Tupperware virtual party. I'll be happy to attend.
Yeah. Pause before you send him a Tupperware invite. Let me just tell you what's A1 on his list, and he will drive you crazy. He is looking for that. Your grandma had one. Tupperware salt, pepper, shaker, holder thing with the sugar and the creamer and the 4-parter. That's what he wants. He will drive you crazy.
I want also the ice trays.
Okay, fair.
I also want the Tupperware mixing set with lids.
Okay.
And then there is this thing that goes on top of pots that's a screen for when you are like doing greasy food, and you put the screen there and it catches all the grease. Yes, I know they sell them.
Splatter guard.
Huh?
It's a splatter guard.
Yes.
Oh my god.
But I want the Tupperware one because it's thicker metal than what they sell at the dollar store, and you can put it on top of your sauce and stop painting my stove.
Hey. You like the sauce. It's worth the cleanup.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes. And guys, we are taking questions, just so you know, in case you got, hypnotized.
Mm-hmm.
So feel free. And Terry, we were still waiting for a date of birth. And I'm double checking real quick, just in case we missed that. Because we had a bunch of comments come in sort of all at once. Sorry, we do have to ask every single time. I know that's a pain in the butt.
But also, and when our pamper ship comes in, we will show it off.
Yeah. 7 to 8 weeks, though.
Yeah. That's a long.
And I got the grand prize.
He did, and it wasn't leopard printed.
Size small leopard print fingerless gloves.
Yeah.
Because the last time I won a door prize, it was at a hospital volunteer event, and we all felt awkward. Let me just clarify. We all felt awkward.
Mm. Yeah. No, I don't believe that. I can understand the theory behind it, but the Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus book, I'm sorry, it's the only thing I found it useful for is a mouse pad.
What?
The cover is textured, so it works really well with your mouse.
Oh, great! Awesome. That is a thing. Okay, cool. But yeah, I don't know. I've heard about the book. I've seen some of the infomercial-y stuff that they kind of did around the book. I never was all that impressed. I got it's more like an allegory way of trying to explain the theory. That it's not literal, but it is kind of, no. Yeah. There we go, Terry. 31357. Let me scroll back up to the magical world of the internet. Oh, too far. Okay. So Terry says, sorry about last week. I've been in the hospital. They found out that I have an eye disease behind my eyes. Will the operation go well?
Let me take a look here. Yes, but I feel like you're stressing yourself way too much about it. I feel like this is something that's common and they'll be able to fix it easily. Okay? Understand now, doctor, please listen to your doctor. Also follow the guidelines after surgery. If they say no lifting of more than 3 pounds, that means no lifting more than a coffee cup.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And a lot of times, I will say for my grandmother having her cataract surgeries, or surgery, yeah. Like, there's some really cool eye drops that do some really amazing things. And for her, the hardest part was using those. Like, I literally asked her doctor, like, can you just double the prescription? Because half this will go in the floor.
Right.
Like, she just, like, what is it about there's like some people that, like, you could run a freight train through their eye socket and they are never going to blink. And then there's other people that, like, you think about putting an eye drop near their eye and never going to happen.
Well, see, with it, you can drop it. This is how I do it: is I drop it in that wet spot of your eye, and it hits and runs through your complete eye.
Ah.
Yeah, I never had a problem getting patients to take eye drops because it's like, look up at me, drop, done.
Yeah, no, my grandmother, like, no, there was no hope. Like, even professionals had problems with her. Like, her optometry office. Oh God, trying to dilate her.
No.
It's like half that bottle went in the floor before they ever got that poor woman dilated.
No.
And
no.
It's like,
MJ brought up a good point. I do recommend a book. It's called More Love, Less Conflict. I love the book. I run my relationships with that book. I'm also started about ready to make boyfriends start reading it because it just saves me terminology. And it's one of those that is written gender neutral. Completely, even though it talks about husband or wife, it doesn't put you into male female category. It puts you into words and what they're hearing. That's where I got a technique that drives him crazy because I'll be saying something and we'll have a talk and go, all right, now what'd you hear?
Yeah, that's a fun question to ask a smart ass. Because you get fun answers.
Yeah. So yes, it's a great book. The exercises in the back are very important. Use them. Take that sheet of emotions and feelings and print copies, so that people can just go through and see that there are more emotions than just one. I think there's like 3 columns back there.
Yeah. Oh gosh, he's gone looking for it. No, we hit it. I swear to God, we hit it.
I think you did. I think it may be in my box of books over there for the office.
Yay!
Well, I was just going to show how tattered it is because I used to just keep it in my car.
Well, yeah, but there's also the fact that sometimes you, like, hit people with that book like it is, like, if you've ever seen that high school girl who's about to have a fight with her boyfriend, and I'll tell you, you know what I'm talking about when I finish this, because she's in the middle of reading 17 magazine and there is a quiz. And there are no right answers to this quiz. There are only wrong answers. He will approach you with these questions like that is what we're doing tonight. Like, I got a quiz for you, honey. And it's like, oh, God. And then you start reading these, and I'm like, I'm not sure there's an answer that does not get me killed. Like, can you just circle the right ones, and I'll make this my live-by guidelines? Yeah.
Yeah. But it solves a lot of communicational problems, a lot of read-in problems, a lot of problems that are carried in from baggage.
And I have to tease him, but it was the first time you brought that to me. I was like, oh my God, no. Like, we're not, like, I'm not dying tonight. Why? What did I do wrong?
You haven't done anything wrong.
Yet. Yep.
But right now, on Aeson's reading list, he's getting ready for an interview on September 18th or 15th, one of the two.
Okay.
Introduction to this was the book I'm currently got to attack later.
10 Terrains of Consciousness?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Going to have the authors on. This will be one of our first video interviews with our new network. So that'll be great. We're going to be bringing those in. Also, if you know of any GBLT authors that want to come on and get us to review their book, whatever, have them contact PCS Network. We would be happy to review their book and bring them on to talk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. And I think that'll be that'll be fun little, guest thoughts popping in. Bringing that back from the old format into the new format's going to be fun.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Hope you guys enjoy.
But we can do a lot of the same things that we've been doing.
Yeah.
Like in the past when you were doing interviews, we can actually do a lot of the same things, both recorded and live.
Mm-hmm.
And if we have super shy authors, we can even do recorded voice, or just don't turn on your camera.
Yeah.
Like we could do that.
Yeah. No.
So
that's
much fun.
You guys, if you have a interest or you have seen a news story, be sure to forward it over to Mountain Bears or Psychic Coffee Shop. We would love to talk about it and give our point of view on it.
Absolutely.
And we also enjoy seeing what you guys are up to. I mean, because we found some really great stuff. I mean, Shannon with Ipsy. I'm getting my second box. I've already chosen my items I'm getting this time, so that'll be fun.
Rock on!
We've had a lot of fun with listener and watcher interactions.
Yes. Yeah, if you guys haven't noticed, we try to have fun with you guys.
Yes. All right, Jenna, you're up.
Alrighty, well, of course, as always, we want to thank our Patreon supporters, Beverly Walker and the Crystal Lotus Shop, located at 89 Old Main Plaza in St. Albans, West Virginia, for supporting the show. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter, please visit us at PCSPnetwork.com, where you can learn more about us, the show, and how to become a Patreon sponsor. Also, I'd like to point out, guys and Patreon supporters, you guys will most likely soon be getting a very cool surprise. We picked up some supplies. There's going to be some arts and crafts magic, and we look forward to sending some things out.
Yeah. And we'll be taking that on. We're going to be doing some more stuff with Patreon. I have to figure out how to use the platform. That is a major difficulty of some of the stuff I want to do. Because I do want to start posting Patreon only stuff. I believe next Tuesday we will probably take a Q&A between the two of us. So you'll see a post on Monday asking for questions on Coffee Shop and Bears that we'll be talking about. This Saturday, I'm going to be doing a spot for House of Aeson at 8 p.m. on Central Pagan Pride, and demoing and talking about some of the House of Aeson products. So be sure to come check that out. I may try to multi-stream it. We'll see. And then taking in appointments. We're taking Mystic PC is up and running. If you got computer problems or marketing, come see him. Take a minute and talk about Mystic PC and all the stuff we offer.
Oh, wow. That's kind of a large list. So we do end user support, small business support. We provide web services, graphic services, photographic services, though that last one's a little funky right now with COVID-19. That was a bigger part before everything that happened. As well as remote support, which is a big thing right now. We can also help you out with choosing new systems and making sure that your users' needs are met by them. In addition to providing that support that you will come to love and cherish. Yes. Hey, I'm an IT guy and I get tipped for more than what I invoice. So let me just say, I think that speaks for itself.
It does. And, we're going to be doing a lot more things hopefully here since things get a little bit more calmer in our world and get into the flow of things. And that includes, different videos. We got unboxings and card testings to do and reviews to write and a lot of fun stuff. So thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And have a great week. Have a great weekend. Stay home, wear a mask, organize something.
Woohoo!
Bye, y'all.
Goodbye.